in your house. And once again, we are back here at the five-star internationally listened to podcast, and that is in your house. And another week behind us, and another week ahead of us, and a whole lot of things to talk about here within the confines of professional wrestling. And I don't do it by myself because sometimes these one-man jobs here, you guys got to understand it is big holding the weight of a five-star podcast on your shoulders by yourself. It's tough, but I don't have to worry about that because I got somebody that curates a whole lot of chaos and a whole lot of content, and that is the marvelous Mr. Bell. How's it going this week, bro?
Yo, 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 what up, my brother from another mother? How is it? How is it? We got a lot to curate, lot of content to curate through, man. I, but first, obviously, how have you been? How was your weekend? What's going on?
Busy, busy. So I got a lot of stuff coming up in the woodworks with the family, of course, in the business within the confines of the professional wrestling business. Got that going on too. But as far as this week, past week, man, me and the family just went out. We checked out the new Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie. It was fantastic. Thoroughly enjoyed it, man, and really just getting ready for another busy, next few months of wrestling and talking about wrestling right here with the curator himself, bro. How the hell have you been?
Absolutely, absolutely. I know you have a lot of things in the motion coming in the works, and we'll get to that in where's the household segment later on. First off, I just want to point out to you that we are live here on Facebook, so
Yes.
we are hoping that the household out there is checking us out. Is helping us in curating some content, curating some communication, letting us know, giving us some feedback, letting us know how we're doing, and all of
Yes.
that. So, first off, I want to point out that, but other than that, I I had an absolutely marvelous weekend, if I can't say so myself. So, I
Awesome.
we had an AACW show that went off spectacularly, marvelously. My team, the gold standard, walked away with the Bad Boys of AACW Tag Team Championships. I am so happy about that. Couldn't be more ecstatic. Shout out to them. I also was able to represent my alpha, Chris the Alpha Athlete Owens, in victory over Dale Patricks at BMFX this weekend. It was a busy weekend for your curator, but I put in that work, and now we're back here, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, big victory over Dale Patrick's. I mean, one of the best in the Midwest. So that's a great victory for you and your collective, man. So I'm glad to hear that. And man, we've still got a lot ahead of us, man. Like you're starting to hit your stride as a manager, and this one of the things that's made this podcast so special is seeing our journeys real time, and I think that's one of the reasons why people enjoy it. And you touched on that we are now live on Facebook. It's been a couple years since In Your House has been doing any Facebook lives. So I'm glad that we're here doing this again to be able to get that real interaction and get that real feedback from the household on the internet. We definitely appreciate you guys coming on and hitting the Apple Podcast and Spotify speakers. I'm not gonna do all that. It's not necessary. You guys already know where to find In Your House at. But we appreciate you guys going to those places to come listen to us. But we definitely want to get your guys' feedback and questions and everything in real time, which is why the curator has curated us back on to Facebook Live, and I'm really excited about that, man.
Well, you gave me a job and I take it seriously, and I want to make In Your House the best product I can possibly make it, or at least help to make it. That's
Yeah,
what we're doing. So we're making big strides. We're doing big things. We're doing what big steppers do, and
yeah.
you know.
And that's what we do, man. We're big stepping out here. We got a lot of stuff to talk about here on this episode. This is gonna be a real news heavy episode because there's a lot of different things and different promotions going on, man, and a lot of things going on in WWE, a lot of things going on in AEW, a lot of things going on in the Indies, a lot of things going on Twitter, as it usually is. You guys know how Twitter can be, but man. First off, I just want to ask you, Bell, and I think it's the same question that Kevin Owens is asking himself: is Ezekiel actually Elias, or is that actually his brother?
I no, Elias died. I
He's gone,
I saw
right?
there was a tombstone. Like whenever there is a tombstone in wrestling, that means the guy's never coming back.
He's gone.
Right?
He's gone forever.
Yeah. This is his twin brother, Ezekiel.
It's Ezekiel.
It's Ezekiel. I saw the picture. Like they're standing side by side. You can't deep fake that.
No.
No.
Like, hey, haters gonna say it's Photoshop, bro.
Man, just hating on two pretty guys that have natural abilities. But I mean, Ezekiel must be a sad fellow because he lost his brother. He's dead.
Yeah, he's gone. Never coming back. I mean, come on. What are you guys thinking about? What are you guys thinking about this whole Ezekiel thing? I know when it first started happening, when he first came out, which was the Raw after WrestleMania, people were really looking at it sideways, and they were really thinking, are they really going with this? Are they really trying to pass off Elias as Ezekiel and him saying, but you know what? As crazy as it is goofy as it might have seemed when they first did it, this is exactly why you got to let things breathe at times, because I honestly think the whole thing's been kind of funny. I mean, he's even went out of his way to change his IG handle to I am not Elias WWE, and I don't know why. That just cracks me up, bro.
This is commitment to character, which you have to respect and you have to love.
Yeah.
And I mean, you want to talk about that thing that we were, they don't like us to talk about, like, that those two words that they don't like us to say together, that sports entertainment,
Man, they gonna get you, bro. They gonna cancel you.
Oh,
you said it.
Oh,
they about to cancel you, bro.
Oh man, I'm the curator of chaos. I encourage being canceled. That's probably toxicity on my part, but ooh, I love it. I love it. I feel for it. That's what I live for. So, come at me with the cancellations.
So as far as this whole Ezekiel thing goes, we were talking a little bit as we were prepping for the show, getting ready to go on the air and taking on this new form of In Your House, as far as being on Facebook Live and checking out what your boys are over here doing and just having good conversations and keeping it open-ended and most importantly, keeping it fun. So my question for you, Belle, is like, how long are they going to be able to continue this before it's not like funny, stupid anymore? It's just stupid.
Well, so here's my thing. Okay, if this is Elias's real brother, like, shouldn't he be mad? Shouldn't he be sad? He seems like a very happy fellow.
Just mellowed out, bro.
Just super mellow, but like I don't know if like he's regressing some feelings. Like, it has he really taken the time to grieve? Is like,
right?
Is he psychologically here, there, or is this just a mask? There's a lot of questions. And if you play this right, I mean, you can tell any kind of story. I'm not saying you can tell a good story, but I'm saying that stories can be told. And
yeah, I mean, just to kind of like add to what you're saying there, like, everybody in the Attitude Era had a story, but that does not mean it was a good story.
Absolutely.
I'm just wondering, like, I've even had thoughts of, do they even try to bring, do they try to somehow bring Elias back? Are they going to try to do a body double thing, or maybe he comes out in a beard, like a beard wig or something, and do the Elias thing? It's wrestling. You never know what's going to happen. But my question is how far do they plan to take this, and where is Ezekiel going to end up on the card? I mean, when he get once this character settles in and he starts doing a couple of storylines, where's he going to end up at? I mean, for this character, me personally, Bell, the ceiling of this Ezekiel character, as I see it right now, is probably running around and chasing the 24/7 title. That's probably the peak for me.
Oh yeah, that's definitely the ceiling for this. This isn't going any. This, I mean, obviously, this is not going your universal title.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
um, it's a gimmick character, and you, I'm just more interested in seeing Ezekiel or Elias's range. Whoever you want to call him, I want to see his range as a sports entertainer.
Yeah.
And see where we can go with that. Like you know me, like I'm encouraged by some of these things because like just because there are stories that could be told with this. We could see a body double sort of thing later on. We could see the rebirth of Elias, which I know I would pop for because I was low key an Elias fan. I like to hate on him a lot, but like absolutely amazing. You know
I
that
thought it was
that
a solid character.
yeah. I, it was a gimmick that did run dry. So yeah, he needs to be versatile a little bit. But
Yeah.
you know, I can't wait to see where this goes. I don't see it going far, but hopefully we can get the rebirth of Elias maybe back after that, or we see this man just continue to grow into a character that we can see as a universal champion or world heavyweight title champion. Um, you know.
It's going to be interesting to see, because this is very, like, this is very ground floor what we're seeing with this Ezekiel thing. It's still new, it's still fresh, so like I said, this is just where I see it as of right now. This isn't my forever assessment until I see it more, but if I'm basing it off of what I have seen, I hold firm on what I said. 24/7 title chaser is probably the peak, and that's it. Now, where the development goes from here, I have no idea. I'm not the writer. I'm not backstage, but like, as of what I've seen, this is where it feels like we're at right now, Bell.
But I'm kind of with Kevin Owens on this. I know this is a Elias, and I know he's running game, but man, I can't help but watch it. Can't help but see it, and I'm not mad at it. This is not something I'm gonna hate on as far as WWE goes. But you know, um, as we kind of shift and talk
Mm-hmm.
about more WWE news, did you happen to um did you happen to watch Young Rock? Are you a fan of Young Rock?
I haven't watched it, but I've been. It's one of those things that I want to catch up with, but I think I know where you're going with this, and there's a lot to unpack if you're going where I think you're going.
Yeah. Well, okay, I am a fan of Young Rock, which
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of TV. I'm an over consumer of TV, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm the marvelous Mr. Bell, and I have to make sure that I am learning the craft and learning characters and learning the art form.
For
So
sure.
yeah, so I am a connoisseur of Young Rock, and in the most recent episode of Young Rock, there was some teasers um, to possible WrestleMania main event later on down the line, as we saw a young Dwayne Johnson and at a young man Dwayne
Yeah.
Johnson um be an uncle to a very very young Joe Joe in the episode where Joe requested to be acknowledged and
Yep.
also wanted to fight Dwayne. And Dwayne's response to that was, a match like that is only built for WrestleMania. So I
Yep.
hope I didn't spoil that for anybody, but like WWE is out there. They're putting out the things that we want to see that. I want to see that. Do you? I feel like you want to see that. That's the match
I
I
definitely,
want.
oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
kind of that was the letdown that I didn't get from this past WrestleMania because I was just waiting to hear if you smell,
yeah,
and
yeah.
we didn't get it.
But I think that the way they're doing it is different. Like what I really liked about this bell specifically is that they really did good like alluding to the WrestleMania match, but they did it on a different platform that wasn't WWE.
Yes.
Like this was not WWE. This is The Rock's product. This is his sitcom, his show, his coming of age series here, and it's completely outside of the WWE realm. So for them to do it like that and to tease this match that everybody knows wants to be seen, it's like kind of like what you said earlier, bro. When you were talking about, basically them knowing what they're doing. They are very aware of what the internet is saying, even though for years it seemed like WWE did not. It seemed like that they were freezing out what the internet was thinking or saying, but now it seems like they're uber aware. And for them to do it in this way, it not only continues to show that they're paying attention, but it shows that they're doing it in a unique way that also brings in like mainstream to wrestling, because even though this story is a wrestling story because it involves The Rock, it also is a mainstream story because The Rock is one of the biggest names ever. You're right now in our era. You know what I'm saying? Outside of wrestling, I mean, just in pop culture, period.
Absolutely, you are absolutely right. WWE is hearing what the internet is saying, and also at In Your House, we are hearing what the internet is saying as we say "What's up, brother?" to Chris Gonzalez. Special shout out to Gonzo's Sports Room.
Yes.
They are
Oh, yes.
following us on the live. Thank you for the support. But yes, WWE, they're not dumb. They know this, and this is a way to build for this match as well. People
Yes.
are gonna watch this. People are gonna see this. They're gonna be like, "Oh man, I kind of want to see this. That's a young kid. I like this story." So we absolutely love what we see out of here, and it's kind of just a low key flex from WWE in their way of saying, "Hey, um, you know, we can get 2-3 million eyes on us and not even be a wrestling show.
Yep. Yep. It's definitely a flex
Beat
in that
that.
way. Exactly. Because here's the thing, like, no matter what we feel, and this is what I think we've learned as we've, as we've taken that transformation and, still being fans of the product, but also smartening ourselves up about the business from the business side of things, if you catch my drift there, and seeing that, like, yeah, WWE does get bastardized a lot for a lot of different things, but they're still the biggest media outlet for professional wrestling in the world. And sometimes they'll just be like, hey, let me just go ahead and remind y'all that we are still the biggest company in the world when it comes to sports entertainment shit.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it look, if you had it like them, wouldn't you flex? Because I know I would.
Flexing all day long, bro.
All day long. Look, House. You see that? Look, House.
Ooh,
You
look at
see
that.
that?
Look at
Look,
that.
Curate is still strong. Don't test me.
Get them, get them. See that, and it really is an interesting way they're doing this. Honestly, bro, the way that the bloodline, the Samoans are doing everything that they're doing is really cool, really different. I mean, seeing them really just flex on everybody right now, as Roman Reigns is now the undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion, and now we're about to see the Usos try to unify the tag team championships, bro. Like the Samoan dynasty is really just everywhere right now, and just knocking everything out of the park to the best of their ability, and letting them know like, hey, we are the family to mess with right now.
Well, that's what I really wanted to talk to you about is all right, so we have the unification of the Universal heavyweight championship in WWE, and now we have the
Hmm.
potential unification of the tag team championships. Are we going to a one belt system in WWE? And like, what does that mean? Do you like that? Is that going to encourage more competition? Is this going to be something that WWE that can handle between um, two two competing networks? Like, these are. I wanted to get your thoughts on this.
It's an interesting question because like it seems like we're getting to a point where we're like, okay, is it time to do a draft again? Because it seems like the lines have been blurred pretty well since the last draft. I mean, I'm not exactly sure who's exclusive to who. I know usually like they do a draft maybe shortly after Mania, or maybe sometimes they'll do it in the summertime as well. It just kind of depends to kind of mix things up. But like if they do go back to a one belt system, does that mean that we're going to be seeing at some point Balor versus Ricochet? Is that a thing that we're going to be seeing? To unify those championships, and are we going to be getting rid of the United States Championship or the Intercontinental Championship? And if they do that, is that going to be a thing where the champions aren't going to be available in the draft because the champions will be able to have immunity and go on each show? These are the questions I think are important before I really put a verdict out there on how I feel about the one belt system. Because I mean, yeah, for a while there, it felt like one belt was bigger than the other. But then you had Brock Lesnar, who had the World Heavyweight Championship, and then Roman Reigns, who had the Universal Championship. And these are both big money players, big money guys. So both titles felt big. Maybe it is time to bring everything together and have one belt. So that way, maybe that these guys that are champions can, feel more special a little bit. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely dig what you're saying. I don't think we have to worry about a draft until around October.
Mm-hmm.
So if that helps ease some of your concerns, I don't. I think we have a little bit of time
Yeah.
before we really have to worry about a draft. Traditionally, I don't think they would merge the Intercontinental or the United States Heavyweight title, because traditionally we've always had those two secondary belts, whether it's been the Intercontinental and a variation of the European, or
Yeah.
where it's transferred into the United States title. Or I think we will continue to have that, unless of course they incorporate more NXT in this,
Yeah.
and this is why they are limiting belts. It, um, and maybe we should not call them belts, because or maybe we can call them belts, because
I
we
was
can
gonna
do
say I don't know
whatever.
if I need the Miz jumping down my throat.
Well, respect the Miz. Respect the Miz. He's awesome. I also look up
I
to him.
got love
Just
for
like,
Miz. I got
oh,
love for Miz. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But it's gonna be interesting to see how they deal with this moving forward with the belts, because now it does seem like they're moving towards the tag team titles and are about to be unified. Whether it be Rated RKO or whether it be the Usos. And then the question that you got to ask yourself after that, if the Usos end up unifying the belts, what could the bloodline do next? Like what is possibly next for them, because they're going to be on top of everything, bro.
you mean what's left for the bloodline after that? I mean,
True.
just beaten off with sticks. Just all the way. I shout out in the comments to our man Juice Incredible out there. He said they'll need to get rid of. Whoa, sorry. Couple comments here. He said they'll need to get rid of a lot of belts, and when they do that, NXT has to be incorporated more. But we all know how this plays out. Yeah, exactly, Jushin. There's no lie there. He also says that Roman has replaced Brock as the top dog. When Brock was top dog, they had to really build up Drew and Braun to beat Brock down. I don't
True.
see anyone doing that against Roman in a convincing way, unless it's Cody, because of Buzz.
I'm glad he brought that up. Like I'm actually glad Jushin brought that up, and I'll say exactly why. Because I think that it's going to be a situation, and they've kind of hinted to this just by, like I said, we still look at, dirt sheets and stuff like that. I know I do, because sometimes that's the best way to get content for a podcast. But there's been some speculation that Cody is going to be our Money in the Bank winner come this summer. When Money in the Bank hits Las Vegas, and he ends up being a Money in the Bank winner. That is literally like the best way I see to get the belt off of Roman, because Roman has smashed everybody, and it's gotten to a point where Roman has beat so many people, and he's been champion for so long, that there's really not anybody on that roster that's really messing with him, that I can see at this point beating him in a one-on-one match. So the best way to do it is to hit him unexpected with the Money in the Bank briefcase, cash in on him, and win it that way. And this is what we're angling towards with Cody Rhodes. I talked about this a little bit yesterday with the GWR guys. Once again, shout out to them for having me on their show. It was a great conversation.
It was a great conversation.
Yeah,
Absolutely great.
I really enjoy those guys. But I think we're veering towards a thing where Cody has put in his contract, which he says was a very complicated contract, that, a guarantee of winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at some point in this run. And I firmly believe that wasn't that contract, because he wouldn't have came out night one on Raw after WrestleMania and cut a promo saying that that's what he's coming for, if there wasn't any intent for him to at some point win that belt. I just don't think it makes sense for him to say that my intentions are to win this belt and then he never wins it. I think that was in the contract. I think that was part of it, on top of getting that bus so he can travel around with his wife and child, and of course triple his money, because Cody's super smart, and I said that yesterday. I think he's super smart with the way he handled himself, and them buying not just Cody Rhodes, but they were purchasing the American Nightmare gimmick as a whole. They're purchasing this complete version of Cody Rhodes. And I think the best way to make Cody Rhodes that champion without making Roman Reigns seem like he's losing to a lesser guy, because as much as I like Cody, he still feels lesser than Roman. Use the Money in the Bank briefcase. It's taking the belt off of guys that are deadlier than Roman Reigns, and we're getting bigger pushes than Roman Reigns, John Cena, at those times. So I think that this is where we're heading towards. We still got a couple of more months of Roman as champion, and at that point, we'll see Cody cash in if and when he wins the Money in the Bank briefcase.
I think you are exactly right. Well, I think I think you are right in a number of ways.
Mhm.
And as I say this, I just added a poll for the household there. Just simple poll. Do you think Cody will win the title by the end of the year? Yes or no?
Check it
Um,
out, guys.
check it out. Give us your answers. I I think that I think it's a hard no. I don't think he wins by the end of the year. I think there is already a plan in place for
Oh yeah,
Roman to
yeah.
continue to dominate, and I don't think that that is going anywhere anytime soon. Um, I think that Cody is definitely one of the men that has the best chances at uncrowning Roman Reigns, but I don't, as I said, I don't think that's happening anytime soon. I am still putting my money on he is holding that belt. He is holding those belts, those titles, whatever you want to call them. He's
Mhm.
holding them a whole nother WrestleMania cycle, and not losing them until probably after the next WrestleMania.
Now that I think about it and I put more thought into it, like, yeah, I agree with you there, because I just don't see there being a scenario where they do Rock and Roman Reigns and the title's not involved.
I mean, they could, and the match is still absolutely magnificent.
Oh
But
yeah.
also, why wouldn't you make it for the title? But here we go with WWE. We just saw a a a good interpretation of how they build up a great match and then let it down with all no momentum at all. We just
Yeah.
saw this with Roman and Brock, and I don't want to see that happen again. But we do know track history, so
Yeah, yeah, and it does feel like that after Mania week was over, it feels like WWE dipped right back into mediocrity, So like, and maybe that's just because it's the business side of things where they know they got to go hard before Mania, but now like the next thing coming up is WrestleMania Backlash, and if you're familiar with the pay-per-view after WrestleMania, like I know that you are, that's usually just a grip or rematches, bro.
yeah, I cannot wait to watch this WrestleMania recap. Did
That's
you
what it is.
did you did
That's
you
what it
did you
is.
see the sarcasm? Could you see it, household? Did you feel the sarcasm in my voice? Because I am not looking forward to this pay-per-view. I'm more so I can't wait till we skip past this, get past this. I'm really looking forward to Money in the Bank because
Oh yeah.
one of my absolute favorite pay-per-views throughout the year. So if we can just skip
Oh yeah.
past this month, at least WWE wise, yeah, let's not skip past this month as a whole, because I know you and I and the household, the household productions and the collection, we all have magnificent things going on,
Awesome stuff going on. Oh yeah.
awesome things going on. But WWE wise, can we skip past this month because like they're just gonna show us a whole lot of the same thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna get. I mean, and
They
we've
don't
and
they don't even gimmick it anymore because they just call it
hmm,
WrestleMania Backlash.
yeah. So like I mean, that really just feel like a cop out by just calling it that, because it's like you might as well just call it WrestleMania Rewind or something like that, because that's exactly what it is. Or recap, like you said, that's exactly what it is. So like I'm definitely not super invested in WWE right now for that reason. But there is some things that was worth talking about, and I think we did a good job of doing that, man. And there's going to be a few things coming up near the future. Like I said, we're going to have Cody and Seth Rollins again. And even though I'm not super excited for that pay-per-view, I mean, I just see these two as a couple that aren't just going to put on a bad match. Like, it's just going to be a good match for what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm excited for that match individually. And and you know we're not haters here in the household. We tell the
Mm-mm.
truth because we're in the house and we can. Um, I'm looking forward to seeing what what happens more with this Edge faction with Damian Priest and AJ Styles. I think that there are going to be some low key, absolutely great things happening in this coming up pay per view. But
I think so too.
the bulk of it will be the same. There's about two, maybe three matches that I am somewhat invested in, and invested in those stories. But as a whole, I'm not looking for a whole lot out of this.
Yeah, yeah, me neither. If anything, you kind of touched on it. I'll be ready to see Cody and Rollins too, and also the culmination of whatever this new brood or whatever Edge is going to call it, that stable. Because speculation is that Rhea Ripley is going to get involved, and other speculation is Tommaso Ciampa is going to get involved, and those pieces, along with Damian Priest and Edge as the leader itself, is something that interests me and entices me, and I want to see where they go with it, with this dark vibe, this dark feel. So that's definitely going to be something interesting, man. And
Let me get
speaking of,
out of Rhea.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
listen, bring in Gangrel at some point. Like, do something with
yeah,
Gangrel. There you go, bring him in. That'd be interesting. Gangrel still very much active and very much doing things. I think that would be an interesting vibe. I mean, obviously they can't get Christian because he's over on AEW, but
that's
even if you
okay.
bring
He's
in
doing
Gangrel,
his
it'd be
thing.
great. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
doing. Yeah.
it's okay. He's doing his thing. But yeah, you're right. Bring in Gangrel. I know he's actually been pretty hot in the Indies
Oh yeah.
over the last year or so, especially since Edge kind of brought back that brood vibe. He could kind of help reinvigorate some of what Gangrel was already doing out there. So like, I'd be all for it. Be
Yeah.
all for it. Can we add a vampire Liv Morgan? Just because I just think
She
it'd be
feel that
kind of
role
hot.
well.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
that'd just be kind of hot. I'm just saying.
Hey, bro, no arguments here at all. No arguments here at all. She definitely would fill that role well. And and for me, like, I honestly, now that you've said that, I really want that now, because that would honestly give them a reason to keep Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley together,
Yes.
and then gimmick up their tag team, and then give them a run with the women's tag team championships as a part of the new Brood. That'd be
What?
awesome. I actually like that.
What? Let's that no, we're making too much sense, Con. We're making too much sense.
Facts, bro.
Hold on. Let's pull it back. Let's just pull it back. Let's just keep them as a thrown together tag team. Maybe we'll just keep Rhea in the faction and Liv will be on the outside, but like they'll still tag, right? Like it'll make
Ugh.
sense. It'll make sense, right? Make it make sense.
Jeez, that's what those writers need to do, is make it make sense, man. But we know how that goes, and because there's so many writers, I just feel like there's too many doggone chefs in the kitchen, if I'm being honest. But
Oh,
but
always.
it's just one of those things, man. But like we said, WWE got a few things moving and grooving, but at the core of it, just really not a lot of new things to talk about as we move into Backlash. But that doesn't mean that after the fact, once we start getting into Money in the Bank season, then we're going to be hitting SummerSlam season shortly after that. Things are definitely going to pick up, man. And something that's picked up recently that I really want to touch on, is NWA. So I just want to talk about that briefly. And the only thing I want to talk about really is the title bout between my man Pope, the Pope Elijah Burke, and Always Ready Matt Cardona. Man, I sat down and watched that match live, and I got to tell you, probably because I'm so deeply invested in it for obvious reasons, it was just had me on the edge of my seat. But also, as a wrestling fan, I just thought the match itself was pretty good. But man, I was the ending. I was so mad. But it just, I want to bring that up because to me, it just proves that NWA is really making some noise right now. And I don't know if you caught those results or checked it out, but it was definitely something to watch when you get free time to go back to check it out on Fight TV, because it was a hell of a match, bro.
Now, I have not checked it out in person yet for myself, but I did peep the results because you got to stay up on these things. Plus, in the house, so we got to watch out for our boy the Pope because
Yeah.
it's kind of like surrogate family, right? Definitely family for yourself, and I'm just trying to claim it.
Man, it was a great match, and I really enjoyed it. Like I said, NWA moving and grooving, doing a lot of good stuff, and it was fun, and definitely something that, at least for that night, I mean, I was on Twitter and everybody was talking about it, had the internet jumping. And man, talking about the internet jumping, I think a certain big giant has had the internet jumping, and he's been quite enjoying it. And I'm talking about formerly known as Braun Strowman, Adam Shear. He's been controlling his narrative, bro. He's been controlling his narrative all over Twitter, man, as he's just shutting down trolls right and left. He even made a mistake of shutting down somebody who said, "Hey, I really love control." And there's a lot of people that don't like control your narrative for reasons I personally don't understand, because it's just, I think it's because they follow their own narrative and think of what CYN is supposed to be, whatever that may be in their eyes, a right-wing company or anti-mask or whatever. But he made the mistake of even attacking a fan that was saying, "Hey, I really think CYN is based, and it's great. I'm enjoying it." And he said, "Oh well, I based your mom last night." And I'm like, dude, like he's talking good about your product,
He gave
and you
you a
shut him
compliment.
down.
He gave you a compliment, my guy, and you just
Ugh,
killed it. Like you had no reason to do that.
no
Like
reason at
no
all.
reason at all. Like, man, Braun Strowman, if he's not out there, fighting with the hip hop lingo community, he's out there picking fights with Buff Bagwell, and
I saw that
like
too.
and that don't seem very necessary, you know. Like, although Buff Bagwell did say make some jokes at control your narrative, he did poke fun at control your
Mm-hmm.
narrative. You know, CYN seems to be the running joke of the wrestling community right now, but also
Oh yeah.
they are making noise. They have large names, yeah, whether it's EC3, whether it's your Braun Strowmans, whether it's your Austin Theories, whether whoever is out there, you know, they have noisemakers out there, and I don't really want to bring politics into wrestling because who wants politics?
No.
And unless like you're JBL or like you know, that's the only politician I really want in my wrestling. And he wasn't even a politician; he was he was a stockbroker. So
Yeah, that was his whole thing, man.
yeah,
And like I don't like it either. Because I really think that especially Twitter has made wrestling like way too political, and I want to keep those two separated because I come to wrestling to get away from all that BS. So I really don't like it. But like you said, guys like Austin Aries is there, Flip Gordon doing their thing, but also a couple guys on the indies that I know, and they've been doing it, and it seems like it's been fine. My thing is that we got to ask ourselves with the interactions that Strowman Sheer is having with fans online, misjudging of fans' thoughts and opinions on CYN, or getting into it with Buff Bagwell. I just feel like the conversation has to be, um, is Braun legitimately having fun with this? Is he poking fun at them, and trying to be the guy that shuts down the trolls and thinks that he's so awesome because he's shutting down trolls? Or is it a situation where where Braun is thin skinned and can't handle all this attention that he's getting, most of it being negative, and not being able to handle it? Is this a point where he is actually controlling his narrative, or is it a point where he just needs to put the phone down and stop typing? He needs to use his hands, as it were, for something else.
now, so I think Braun Strowman is out there letting the narrative control him at the moment. He's letting these internet trolls get to him, and now I know he wants to shut them down in the comments, and I'm sure he has verbal hands, but you have to know the lingo. You know you have to be up. Your Twitter game has to be strong, and I don't think his hands are
Mm-mm.
quite strong enough. He may have need to do some more, calisthenics or
Yeah,
work
get
them
them thumbs
thumbs.
going.
I don't know. Maybe he needs to play some 2K or something like that. You know,
Maybe.
get those things working a little bit faster, a little bit smarter. So, um, and I think maybe it's a thing that maybe it's he's prevent defense right now, like
Yeah.
he's on guard because most of his interactions have been negative interactions. um
Yeah.
and for whatever reason, I've checked out some control your narrative. I've seen the clips, seen the wrestling, and it's not a bad, it does not seem like a bad show. I have like I and this is just purely from a wrestling standpoint. I haven't really listened to a lot of the promos or the extras as far as the wrestling goes, but
Right, right.
I we're here for wrestling, right? I mean, we are sports entertainers, but the wrestling is what got us here.
Exactly. It's the in-ring product that got us here, and you just got to ask yourself. And I think that this whole control your narrative thing, it's just, I don't want to say it's off to a bad start, because a lot of people are talking about it, but I just think that the way people are taking it is rough, because they see it like a lot of people see it as this right wing anti-mass type promotion, with just people that have that they have bad taste in their mouth about. Like you said earlier, Austin Aries is somebody that's there that has a lot of wild ideas. Flip Gordon is another guy that has a lot of wild ideas. I haven't really seen a whole lot of wild ideas from like EC3 or anything like that, but like I just think that like Braun's, it feels like Braun's on front line right now. He's on front line defending what this is. Every single comment, scoping out every comment. And bro, I was on, and this is EC3's like brainchild. And like I know they came together and did it, but I just saw a picture on IG of EC3 out with some homies, having some beers, you know what I'm saying? Catching a baseball game, and just kicking it with people. While Braun is out here on front line on Twitter defending CYN. So is this like is EC3 in on this fight? Is EC3 just like is he telling Braun in the background like, hey, maybe you should chill? Or is Braun just taking this upon himself to just do this? Because it seems like EC3 ain't sweating it the way that Braun is, bro.
Well, I think EC3 is a different character than Braun Strowman is. You know, Braun
Mm-hmm.
Strowman truly reminds me of from Billy Madison, the Adore Rules family, where you know, it's just Adore Rules and
Yeah.
just run first anger. I think that's how he lives his life, and you know, we're seeing that. We're seeing a testament to that. I mean, at least he's not running up on stages yet, slapping people at the Oscars. You know,
Right, for real.
at that point, you know, maybe we have to get him some help. Although I have some theories about those things. You,
Man, it's just a thing where I like, and here's the thing, like I know a lot of people got a bad taste in their mouth about Braun, but like I don't hate Braun Strowman. Like I just don't. So that's why I brought it up to be like, hey, like, is he literally just on his phone, like sitting on his couch, probably in his big ass house or big ass condo or whatever? Because you know he made a lot of money in WWE, and it's just he himself. You know, he's a single man. So is he just sitting in this big ass house? And instead of spending this time fishing and doing stuff that he loves to do while also controlling his narrative and out there maybe taking some indie bookings and autograph signings? Is he literally just sitting on his phone watching these people talk bad about his promotion and just attack, 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 attack? That's the question you got to ask yourself.
I really hope not. I mean, I saw over the weekend that he was at Alexa Bliss's wedding
Yeah.
in a super medium shirt, pink
Yeah, I
shirt,
saw that.
which was amazing. So at least he's out and about. I mean, I don't know how much culture he's getting, but he's out and about. So
Yeah, that's my questions, man. Because like you said, like Braun really seems like he really does seem like he comes from a place that did lack culture. Like you actually said it perfectly. Like because the way that he deals with things is very much like how feel like somebody with his background and upbringing would deal with it. And it's like sometimes you just got to shut that stuff off, man. Like you don't ever want to be one of those guys where you're constantly updating your Twitter and looking for those new comments, because you got to believe that somebody with that much exposure, with that much notoriety. I mean, he's a former Universal Champion. He was featured prominently on WWE in many different storylines. You got to believe that he's getting updates like on a regular basis. I don't want to say every minute somebody's tweeting him or IGing him or whatever, but you got to believe that it's pretty frequently and daily. So at what point it's like, okay, I got to turn this shit off. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, look, I'm not famous, but I am a curator. I am pretty darn marvelous, and you
Mm-hmm.
know, my DMs stay popping. You know, my mentions stay up. You
Yep.
know, I keep shares. You know, I'm not bragging or anything like that.
Nah, nah.
But I also don't stay in my own comments because I think that's lame.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes you just gotta like I firmly believe, even though social media is important for what we do as podcasters, as professional wrestling managers, as sports entertainers, I definitely see that social media is super important. But I also can see how social media can pull focus from maybe things that are more important than commenting on somebody that doesn't quite see your opinion or agree with your opinion, or and I'm not saying there's times where like there's occasions where you don't like reply to it. I'm human. I've replied to it too. And there's times, especially in my younger days, where I would argue online with people. I really don't do that much anymore. But like there was
You buy
definitely,
your
I'm not
time for
perfect.
that.
Yeah, it's like now we've gotten to a point where it's like I can't stay on Facebook or Twitter arguing with you about something for an hour, because at the end of the day, probably neither one of us are going to change our minds, and we didn't wasted an hour of productive time arguing with each other, and once again not changing each other's minds. So
You
I'm just
hit it
wondering.
right there, Con. You
Yeah.
hit it right there. Look, you're wasting productive time doing that stuff. We out here putting in that work, work, work.
Yep.
You know, whether it's shoot job, whether it's in this wrestling world, whether it's in
Yep.
this podcast world, we're out here
Yep.
putting in that work, 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 and we have other things to do. I mean, we don't have time for the toxicity of social media. We're just using it as a tool.
Yeah, exactly. And I really think that once a lot of people realize that, it would be better for them. I know it's been better for me to shift my mindset on how I use social media. And it's honestly, it's gotten me to where I am today. So I just wanted to talk about that. Like I said, really no shade for me towards Braun Strowman, because he ain't done shit to me personally. I just thought that it was something that was worthy of talking about, man. And there's a lot of things that have been worthy talking about, specifically on last night's episode of AEW Dynamite. We saw a lot of furthering of stories, some things great, some things not so great. What we did see though was the good captain himself, Captain Sean Dean, pick up another victory over MJF. And
Ooh.
is this a running thing we're gonna be having here with the good captain? Because he didn't beat MJF twice now, like you said.
So we got a DQ victory and we have a countout victory. The captain Sean Dean out there doing big things, just getting wins after wins over MJF. I'm sure MJF will try to avenge at least one of those. So like
Sure.
I mean, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see if Sean Dean can squeak out another victory.
Yeah.
Um, I th- th- that this was probably one of my favorite segments of the night for AEW. It's just as far as just it entertained me the most
Yeah.
because this AEW was a banger. Just hot. If you like professional wrestling, this AEW was the show for you because it gave you that.
Yes, and here's the thing that I enjoyed, and before I go ahead and jump further into it, I wanna shout out Roger Pettit in the comments. He said, "What's up, fam?
What's
What's
up,
up, bro?
Roger?
Yes, thanks for coming in and chatting with us, bro. We wanted to acknowledge you and let you know that we see you, and thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. We appreciate it. But what I enjoyed about that segment with MJF and Wardlow and Captain Sean Dean is the importance that they put on the fact that um, that MJF was losing that match, because records are supposed to matter in AEW. That's how it's been built up, right?
Yes.
So he was doing everything he could to try to convince that ref not to get that 10 count in, but at the end of it, there was nothing he can do, and he had to take that L in his win-loss column, which is gonna hurt his chances of fighting for the titles, bro.
Well, this story with MJF is just ever unfolding. I mean, you know, at one point, MJF was kind of the man who had everything. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
almost everything. He had everything but the AEW World Title, and
yeah, oh yeah,
and it looked like I, you know, after beating Punk, that he was on the road to become AEW World Champion, or at least be, number one contender for that title.
yeah, yeah,
But since he lost to CM Punk in the dog collar match, it has just been a downward spiral for MJF, and you gotta wonder, is this how MJF's year is gonna go? What is MJF's year gonna look like? As
Yeah.
for the last 2 years, he's been on top, very heavily on top.
He has, but see, this is what's so interesting about how they're presenting MJF, and the character that we saw MJF play when he had it, when he had everything, when he had, you know, the Dynamite Diamond ring, when he had the Heavy and Wardlow, when he had the Pinnacle having his back, when it seemed like that MJF could really do no wrong or can be stopped. We saw a version of MJF that we're used to seeing, MJF winning. We're used to seeing MJF winning in terms of promos, in terms of matches, in terms of being a top player in AEW. Now we're seeing a contrast of what we're normally seeing with MJF. We're seeing the slide in MJF. We're seeing him not win as much. We're seeing him kind of be on the defensive. And I think that's going to be a test for MJF, to see his range. We're used to seeing MJF be, like we said, a big winner, the guy that always comes out on top. Well, now he's not coming out on top so much. And really, it's been great because as we've been seeing this slide from MJF, simultaneously, we're seeing the stock and the star rise of Wardlow. And I'm here for it because this build of Wardlow in a generation where building baby faces is hard. Like everybody likes the heels and thinks the heels are cool. This building of babyface Wardlow has not only been organic, it's also been fun to watch.
Absolutely organic. It's like you took the words out of my mouth. Like, uh, it's all been a slow build for Wardlow. We were introduced to Wardlow in a small video package. I believe what all out during one of the very first pay-per-views of
Yeah, it was one of
AEW,
the first ones. Yep.
and no one knew who this man was, and now we are here, and like it we I we have seen a great rise in Wardlow, and it's just a testament to what AEW is really doing to try to build younger stars and
Yeah,
to try to give people names and make names out of people.
and it's really great. It's really great to see because like there was that thought, that inkling. I mean, it was more than an inkling, and it was in a lot of people's minds that AEW was going the way of like WCW or even TNA, where they're just getting those ex WWE WWF guys and first off, I don't think that's a good business model anyway. And I'm not saying this as somebody that's like, oh well, they're just getting a bunch of old WWE guys to try to be relevant and try to get hype off the WWE to try to build their products. No, that's not why I think it's a bad idea. I think it's a bad idea because from a business standpoint, these guys that are coming from the WWE are used to being treated a certain way, sometimes good, sometimes bad, but they're definitely used to making a certain amount of money. That's something right there, that they're used to making a certain amount of money. So are they going to be cool with taking less money, or do you got to pay them the money that they're used to? And either way, what calls in the question is, okay, you got these guys like your Danhausens, like your Hooks. You know what I'm saying? These newer cats, your Swerves are coming in, and even though he did have a run in NXT, I think that he was still at that developmental rate. You know, a lot of these guys that are coming in that would be okay with getting paid a certain amount that an ex WWE guy would not be okay with getting paid. You got to think about your money too when you're running a promotion, and you got to think about your future as well. So like building these guys the way that they're building them is super important, and I really, really do think that AEW is taking a good shift in how they're pushing their guys and presenting their guys, because they have enough guys right there with your Brian Danielson signs, your CM Punk signings, your Moxleys that you've had for a while, but also you got to build your new guys too, your homegrown talent. That's important.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and I think I don't have any dogging in me for AEW right now. We could say that they spend a lot of time signing ex WWE talent, but also they've spent a lot of time using that ex-WWE talent to help build their young guys, their new guys.
That's it.
If you look at the Blackpool fighting or Blackpool Society, or I'm sorry, I butchered the faction name.
Blackpool Combat Club.
Blackpool Combat Club. You look at what they're doing right now with Young Yuta, like, and the match that he had on Rampage that which
Yeah.
got it, that match got buzz before it even aired.
Yeah. Yep.
People were telling that just the industry was a buzz about that match the night that it happened because you you guys know, like, Rampage is aired after Dynamite. They recorded
Mm-hmm.
after Dynamite. It main evented Rampage, and that was the best night or the best match of the night. And you got to remember that there was an amazing Young Bucks and FTR tag match that same night too. So
Yep.
for Young Yuta to shine in a match with John Moxley, for those kinds of shines to be transferred. Like, AEW is doing the right things. There's nothing that we can't dog them,
No.
nor would we. Right now because they're making the moves. They're doing the right things. I don't know their plan, but man, they have a plan and they're sticking to it.
That's what it seems like, man. And you really love to see um the way that the buzz or the rub that as it were is being transferred from these guys to these new talents, because that's how you're going to create new stars. That's how you're going to create these new guys. Willer Yuta, his buzz has hit completely different since of being affiliated with the Blackpool Combat Club. Might I say that match from Rampage did more for him than winning the Ring of Honor Pure Championship did. You
Yes, it
know,
did. You are not wrong.
it's just one of those things, bro. So like I've thoroughly enjoyed what AEW is doing. And we're going to talk about their main event. But before we talk about their main event, bro, I want to talk about the fact that we got a huge announcement coming next week from Tony Khan. And this is what we've seen lately from Tony Khan. We talked a little bit about this off the air that we're seeing more of the quirks of Tony Khan as he's becoming more of a public figure as a promoter, and we're seeing his quirks because it seems like every other week he has a huge announcement. So I guess what are we speculating on this big announcement? I don't think it's a signing, because I think if it was a signing, he would have said new signing announced next week. This is an announcement. So any speculation from the curators in on what this might possibly could be?
The curator thinks that Tony Khan does cocaine.
Same, bro. I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it.
I mean, how can he not? He hasn't. He's more up and down than some of these that come out in and out of the trap houses. I'm just saying.
Hey,
That look. Don't get mad at me. This is the world we live in. But
it's bots, bro. That's what it is. We're hating on him. It's bots.
yeah. I look. I need Tony Khan to calm down with the announcements, with the this is the greatest thing ever. Because honestly, and we talked about this, and I think we're on the same page as this with this. Look, unless you're giving me HBO Max,
Give me that
streaming,
HBO Max. Come on, give me that.
bro, I don't think there's not a whole lot else that matters. Like, I was saying this even back when we found out that they inked a deal with ROH, and I was still upset. I was like, man, kind of still want that HBO deal because
Yeah.
okay, but I see, all right, you're setting the wheels in motion. This is gonna help you get it. You need that deal, man. You need that streaming service. I'm sorry, but like TBS TNT is whack, and you know
And come on, bro, we're
that
overspending $50, $60 for a pay-per-view. Come on, we're past that. I
yeah.
mean, I mean, straight up, we know that WWE's doing it and they've been doing it for a long time, but, bro, NWA All Access makes it to where you don't have to pay. $30, $40 for their Fight TV pay-per-views. Even Impact has Impact Plus. It is time, AEW, to get on board with the streaming services so we can enjoy your show without having to drop 50, $60 at a time. And I say that as a man that got a good job. I still don't want to do that.
Yeah,
Still.
I'm my shoot job. I got union benefits. I mean, I ain't trying to broadcast that stuff, but like, yeah, I could still use a streaming service because all that stuff adds up. You got your Hulu's here. You got your yeah, all of that stuff adds up. I can't afford to be paying $60, for a pay per view every quarter. I know it's every quarter, and I ain't even trying to be cheap, but you are gonna get more money in the long run, and everyone
You
will
are.
eat
Yes.
and continue to eat better if you can hurry up and ink this deal, Tony. This is what the people want. This is what the household wants. This is what the curator wants. And I'm not trying to speak for the director because he's the director, but I believe this is what the director wants.
Oh no, you're speaking right for the director, bro. You're speaking right because like it's straight up. If I'm being transparent here, it's easier. It's easier to talk to the director's wife who actually runs the show around here to be like, hey, baby, you want to sit down and watch this WrestleMania? How much is it? Oh well, it's $9.99 on a network. We don't got to pay for it. We can just pull it up and drop it right now. But
Yeah,
saying, hey, but trying to convince her like, hey, you want to watch Revolution? How much is it? Oh, we got to drop $60 on it. Nah, I don't want to see it that bad. You know what I'm saying? And I love AEW. I want to see all their shows, especially their special events, because they kill all their special events, their pay-per-views. I love them, but like make them more accessible for us. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely. You were not wrong there. And, you know, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, look, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm curator of the internet, so I will find a bootleg or an illegal stream somewhere to watch my wrestling because look, I don't care if it's Alaskan thumb wrestling. I'm probably gonna try to watch it, right? But
Yep. Yep.
that's just how I'm built. Um, but yeah, make it easier access for the people. I mean, that's what that's what you're striving for. Might as well rip the bandage off, get the deal done. If it's HBO not doing it, man, yeah, I don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah, I really don't know because yeah, I mean, just like with WWE with Peacock, it would definitely make a lot of money for HBO to get that niche fan base of people that for a fact are going to subscribe to HBO Max. Let's call a spade here, Bell. They're going to, if they haven't already subscribed to HBO Max, they're definitely going to subscribe to HBO Max, if nothing else, just to take in their AEW content, bro.
Absolutely, you're not wrong. And look, man, I eat, sleep, breathe wrestling. There's generally not wrestling not on my television. I do you take the occasional time to binge watch a show here and there, but
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
generally it's all wrestling 24/7. Um, so give me access so I can have more often. And honestly, give me something that's easier to use than that stupid colorful peacock. Ugh, it's gross and it's
Oh yeah.
convoluted and it's hard to use. And I want my network back, to be
I
honest.
miss the network, bro. I miss the network so bad. I never thought I would miss the WWE network as much as I do, but I definitely do. Do not like Peacock either, bro. Um, but I'm gonna tell you something that I do like that I wish I was checking out, but I might check it out at a later time. And that's a big title bout that we got. And I want to get to the main event of Dynamite, but I also want to talk about this big title bout that's coming up this Saturday night. It's fight night. And that we're gonna see the Ring of Honor title defended, man, on AEW. That's gonna be so cool to see the Octopus himself, Jonathan Grisham, go up against Dalton Castle for the Ring of Honor Championship. That's something. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna be out and about doing my thing over there with DCCW, but this is definitely something I'm gonna come back and check later, bro.
Yeah, you're gonna be doing your thing with DCCW. We'll give you guys all the details a little bit later on in the show. Where's the household? Um, but I am going to try my best to check this out live. Um, do my best. The curator has to make sure that he's taking care of his loved ones and his partners, and I got a little date ski planned.
Oh,
Um,
that'd be nice. That'd be
yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah. But I'm definitely gonna check this out as soon as I can because I, I have been a fan of Jonathan Gresham for a good minute now, and just now that he's getting more exposure with AEW, with being the top guy with Ring of Honor, I I'm excited for this because I'm excited for him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's gonna be cool. It's definitely gonna be something awesome to check out, and we'll talk more about that probably next week when we go live again. But what we do got to talk about is another banger besides the one. I mean, we know we're gonna see a banger Saturday night, but last night we saw a banger. We saw the murder grandpa himself, the Ring of Honor World Television Champion Minoru Suzuki, go
Ooh,
up
ooh,
against Samoa
ooh.
Joe.
Uh,
Man, this match, oh my gosh, Bell.
oh,
Seriously, bro.
Before we talk about that match, can we give? I just want to give some big, mad shine to Keith Lee, Swerve, Ricky Starks, and Powerhouse Hobbs in that tag match that they had.
Oh yes,
Yeah, we
yes.
can't skim over that. They had an amazing match, and yo, look, that was four dudes that kind of look like us, just doing
Yeah.
amazing things, and just
Yep.
all. I wish their match could have stole the show if it was not for the match you were getting ready uh, to introduce, which was Minoru Suzuki versus Samoa Joe, which was violence.
Yes. Yes. I honestly thought, and me and my wife, who is a fan of Minoru Suzuki, a few years back, we went to Columbus, Ohio, and it was a New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor Global Wars show. And we got a chance to see Minoru Suzuki firsthand, and she got a chance to have a moment with Minoru Suzuki as he was doing some really violent shit, and he locked eyes with my wife, and they both shared a laugh with each other. And I'm like, bitch, is you crazy? Because I think you crazy.
I,
Like
yeah.
If Murder Grandpa messes with you, you got to be crazy. You know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
yo, you
So
might need to sleep with one eye open, Con. I'm just saying, like, or
for
just like,
real,
make sure you always on your P's and Q's. Which you're the director, you're straight laced. You got this right, and you
got
ain't got
it, bro.
nothing to worry about. Everything's always top notch because that's the household production way, right?
It's the household production way, but she already had and she loves Samoa Joe because we've met Samoa Joe before, but she was invested in this match, and there was a point in this match where I was like, I really think that these two are gonna spend 15 minutes just chopping the shit out of each other's chest and whatnot, because man, it was like, I said it. I don't even think it was 2 minutes into the match, and both these men's chests were like blood red, bro.
Yes, yes, they were so red. I I I was trying to show my partner this match there, and show this the level of violence she could not watch. She was like, "Oh, this is kind of rough," but I was so into it just because it was just two big old bulls just beating the shit out of each other. Can we get more of that? Can you
Yeah,
just more of that? Just that.
I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed the beautiful violence that was on display in the main event, and I knew it was coming. Like I knew it was coming because it's Minoru Suzuki and Samoa Joe. Like what I saw last night between those two in that match is pretty much what I would expect from a Minoru Suzuki and a Samoa Joe. And it's even sweeter that the Ring of Honor Television Championship was on the line, which was surprisingly enough Minoru Suzuki's first ever United States championship like that he's ever held. He's never held a title in the States before until he held the Ring of Honor television championship, mainly because he's mainly based out of Japan. And that kind of makes sense now that I verbalize that.
I mean,
But
but
like,
still, when you say that out loud, it sounds like somebody deserves some felonies. I'm just saying,
yeah, it just doesn't sound weird that
it
he
does.
hasn't won a title in the States until now.
Yeah, it sounds absolutely weird. It's an absolute crime. It's Suzuki Gun. I mean, I was gonna ask you earlier, if we're New Japan, Japanning it up, are you Suzuki Gun? Are you more of a Chaos? Are you Bullet Club all the way? Like, what's your go?
Man, as far as Suzuki goes, man, and throw it at me again.
I what's your faction of choice for New Japan? Um, do you if you had to choose between like Bullet Club, Chaos, Suzuki Gun, or Los Inogur? I can't say it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah.
I I mean, I watched a lot of Bullet Club, but I also like Chaos too, though, man. So like, it's hard to it's hard to really pick between those two. But if I had to, I would say Bullet Club, just because I spent a lot of time repping their shirts and watching their content and seeing all different incarnations of the Bullet Club. But a close second would be Chaos.
Oh, I like Chaos, and I just because I'm a big fan of Yano,
Yeah,
and his comedy spots and things like that. And just the world of Chaos, man. I feel like the curator would just fit. It just hits
yeah.
the fit.
Yeah, it seems like it would fit right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be, like I said, Bullet Club, but very close second. Would most definitely, without a doubt, be Chaos, and we saw a lot of chaos in that main event. That actually saw Samoa Joe winning for the first time ever the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. And even though we both agree the match was a banger. I mean, like
absolute
no,
banger.
nothing else we could say besides the fact was the match was a banger. But man, that ending just fell flat to me because my man's Joe didn't even have like a second to enjoy the fact that he won that title before he had Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal pull up, and they were ringside watching the match anyway. And
I
I just thought it was awkward, man.
I was so confused. You had Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt ringside. They were cheering Samoa Joe on for most of the match, and then Samoa Joe wins. He does not even get a second to breathe, and he starts getting beat on. And then some 9 foot tall giant man that I still unsure of his name just comes, and I what happened?
Well, whoever this guy is, apparently, and they kind of said it on commentary, he played for the NBA. I guess he was a former Dallas Maverick, as it were. But we don't know that. You know, I know they played it up on commentary, but as soon as it happened, like my mindset was like, who the hell is this, and why do I care? You know,
Absolutely.
like Samoa Joe just won the television championship, but I'm supposed to care about this guy. It just felt weird to me.
Yeah, absolute same. The guy's name is Satnam Singh,
Okay.
and it is confirmed he was drafted by the Dallas Mavericks. Did play in the NBA for a short time. Is a very tall and menacing looking individual. For a great second, I really thought it was the Great Khali, and maybe that's culturally insensitive of me to say, but like I know a lot of the, like household and a lot of the listeners out there probably thought the same thing, and I
They
don't
did.
think.
They just don't want to admit it.
Yeah, well, look, we're in the house. We're gonna be honest. We're gonna talk about it. That's the vibe that I got, and I don't know if that's necessarily the greatest vibe ever. Um,
Mm-mm.
just because you know, Great Khali never. He kind of went over like not at all. He brought us the absolute horrid Punjabi prison match.
Oh
And
God.
in a very bad title ring. Um, and I know this is a different company and this is a completely different man, but man, I got those vibes super instant.
Instantly,
Yes.
instantaneously, and that's not a good thing. I understand that they might be trying to get some of that India money, because the nation,
Well,
the
as they
nation of
should,
India.
the culture of India, they are hungry for wrestling. That
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
just a culturally rich, people. Just
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, to be able to tap into that market. I know we have listeners from
We
that
have a
market.
great fan base in India. We love India
Yes,
here at In Your House.
yes, we do.
Seriously,
Yes, we do.
seriously.
What are we going? 14, 15 nations strong. All right,
Yep.
the household can be listened to. So
But we always have a core out of the fan bases that come back every single week. India is definitely one of them, and In Your House loves India. So definitely I want to put that out there. But also at the same time, this ending just felt weird and flat, Bell.
yeah, it definitely did. I'm not giving the guy a chance. I just this just wasn't a great first iteration. If
No.
you don't know a lot of our Ring of Honor history, this was confusing, and I think maybe if you do know some Ring of Honor history, this was still confusing.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what they were going for. I just know I you kind of deflated a absolute banger of a match, and I'm kind of sad about that.
Yeah, yeah, that's where I'm at, bro. That's exactly where I'm at. And I mean, I really couldn't agree more with you on that. And it was just a weird ending to what was a really, really awesome dynamite. And hopefully as the coming weeks come, we have the big announcement from Tony Khan. We got Rampage, we got Saturday night, fight night that's coming up. And here's the thing, like AEW is not always going to get it right. WWE is not always going to get it right. NWA is not always going to get it right. I definitely think they got it wrong Tuesday night by not having Pope win the title, but that's for personal reasons, but not just for personal reasons. And it's something that I'll talk about later on a later episode. Not every company is going to get it right. That doesn't mean that we don't still love them, that we don't still tune in, and that we don't still enjoy consuming their product. But this is what we do here at In Your House: is that we're going to give you the nitty gritty, the raw, the real, our honest feedback on professional wrestling, um, because that's us doing our due diligence by giving our honest feedback and giving that real love. And that's exactly what you're going to get. And I think that this episode, we really did our due diligence by covering a whole lot of different topics, man. And it really made for a great episode, Bell.
Yeah, I think we're trying new things here in your house. I know you said you've done the live thing before, but we wanted to give it another go ahead.
Yeah,
We got some good interaction from the household, and we appreciate and love you guys out there.
no
Um,
doubt.
and as we keep this going, we
We're going
want
to
to
keep
keep
building and
up.
growing.
Yeah, and we want to keep up your interaction. This is
Oh,
your
yeah.
household. This is your discussion. Let us help you get through your day. And just talk a little bit of wrestling.
Absolutely, man. That's exactly what we want to do. So I'm glad that we were able to go live, do this for the first time. And like I said, we did have some great interaction, but I do believe that the interaction as the weeks go on is going to get better as the consistency of the lives come up as we start to do it on a weekly basis. And don't worry, guys, because we're still, like I said earlier, we're still dropping this in podcast form, so you guys can check it out later on at your guys' leisure on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all that good stuff. So that aspect isn't changing. It's just we're adding to In Your House by adding the Facebook Live aspect to it, so we can be more interactive with you guys and get some more of your feedback and input. And with that being said, we were talking to the household. Now I think it's time to talk about what's next for the household as we're hitting up this upcoming weekend, man. So I know that you got a big date night weekend this weekend coming up, man. But what's next for the curator as the weeks come on by?
Well, as the weeks come on by, I am looking forward to my Michigan trip as I go and visit For Us Wrestling at Renegades Bar and Grill in Grand Rapids, Michigan. That is April 22nd. You can check my page, follow For Us Wrestling for all the event details, ticket information, and all that. That's what I'm looking forward to. I also have some great things in the works with the Alpha athlete Christopher Owens. And did you see Con? Did you see this weekend that my guys, the gold standard, we brought home some gold. Your boy is
Yep.
managing some champions. and it feels so
Yes, you
great.
are.
Feels so
That is a
great.
great feeling.
Yes.
Yes, that is a great feeling. And I'm glad to see you out there doing your thing with the gold standard, with the alpha athlete. You're going to be heading over to Michigan, man. A lot of big, awesome things going on for the curator. And I love to see it. It's great seeing your growth as a performer and as a representative for these great, awesome talents. I'm loving it. And I'm loving what I'm doing as well, man, as we've got as this weekend, I got DCCW for myself as I'll be representing the realest tag team in the universe, the highlight reel. As it looks like we're going to be having the DCCW World Tag Team Championships on the line up against former WWE Tag Team Champions and Epico and Primo. We'll have Carlito in the house as well as Rikishi making a special appearance. Shout out to Rikishi, just coming off a surgery here and still traveling to this big expo going on this weekend in Indianapolis, World Circle City Expo. That's going to be great. The director won't specifically be there, but you guys should check that out as it's a big expo with a lot of great different talent. So definitely check that out. But I'll be over at DCCW this weekend. Sam is going to be making his new era debut in Shelbyville, Indiana, representing Household Productions. It's going to be a movie, as it always is. And then Paragon is actually leaving the state. He's getting out of Indiana. He's heading over to Washington State, as my man is going to be defending the Northwest Pro Championship there at Northwest Pro in Washington, and proving that the World Star of Household Productions is not local. So we got a lot of great things coming on. And then the week after that, Household Productions will be all together. Paragon, myself, the Enforcer, Sam Knight, and my new recruit, Mickey Midas. We will all be in Fort Wayne for Heroes and Legends. Heroes and Legends is going to be big. Heroes and Legends 16 over in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It's going to be great. It's most certainly going to be a movie. And the week or 2 weeks after that, once again, we'll be together at Emerge Wrestling over in Columbus, Indiana, where we're going to be putting on Home is Where the Hurt Is. And that's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of details coming out about that as the weeks come. I always love doing Emerge. It is definitely one of my favorite promotions to go to and work with. It feels like home. They make it feel like home anytime the director is there. Have a lot of fun doing it. So a lot of stuff coming through the woodworks for Household Productions. And man, you know what time it is now, man. Bell, let the household know where they can find you at on social media so they can see all the crazy things that you're curating and all the chaos that you're curating as well.
Well, as y'all already know, my name is the marvelous Mr. Bell. If you have to or wonder why my name is marvelous, just look a little harder. Squint if you got to. You can find me at at the Curator Bell on every social media source known to man, and if more come, I'll make it Curator Bell. Make it super easy for everyone. You can also find me weekly at the Kokomo Press and with the Kokomo Press podcast. You can find us on YouTube, on Apple, Google, Spotify, probably Stitcher, probably all those other things that Khan also says in that long-winded thing. Um, yeah, I'm out there. I'm out here. Uh, I'm the marvelous Mr. Bell. If you like what you see here, I am the curator of content for in your house. If you like what you see, if you don't like what you see, hit me up, let me know, and I will try to curate better content or keep the content curated. So
Absolutely, man. Another great episode, which means another great week ahead of us, man. So let's go ahead and get this week going, and then we'll reconvene next week and do it again, bro.
awesome, sounds like a plan, homie.
All right, household, peace out. This was another great episode of In Your House.